Dave is a geologist that taught at Stanford.
So, yeah, I wasn't a student at Stanford, I was a professor there. I tried to be a student there and they wouldn't accept me, so, and then they fired me. So anyway, this is a story called, I don't read because, I read because I can't remember stuff, so, but this is a good story. You ready? My Life in Witchcraft, a True Story. My father was a professor of Old Testament religion at USC. He had a huge library filled with dusty books on religion and related subjects. New books, old books, and really old books. Books hundreds of years old. Once, when I was about 17, I found a book in his library about witchcraft. So I started skimming through it. This is a real book on witchcraft, not about witchcraft. This was a book about how to be a witch and how to do magic. There were spells in it, actual spells. Spells to make people respect you, spells to make people love you, spells to do people wrong, and spells to control animals like get goats pregnant. That was a practical one, I figured, for back then. But one spell really interested me, being a 17-year-old. That one spell was how to make 3 naked women appear in your room at night. This is for me, I thought. After all, I was 17 years old, and again, this is a true story. One night, my parents were out, so I decided to enact my plan. I was going to do that spell and make those 3 naked ladies appear in my room, naked, without clothing, not a stitch on, nude. I remember doing something with wax and dirt, candles were involved, and I had to open the window of my bedroom about a couple of feet so the women could get in. And then I read the spell, which was in Latin, and I undoubtedly pronounced everything wrong. After reading the spell, I waited a few minutes. It was quiet. At first, nothing happened. It was a warm summer night, very quiet. Only crickets outside chirping. And then, as if by magic, which is what I was doing after all, an enormous dragonfly flew into my bedroom through the crack in the window. Now this happened in Palos Verdes, about an hour's drive north of here, near the famed glass chapel. And dragonflies really aren't that common there because it's a dry place. No ponds, no bodies of water to breathe in, dry. But here it was 10 o'clock at night, and an enormous dragonfly, maybe 5 inches long, had entered my bedroom and began circling overhead the light in my ceiling, immediately after I'd read this spell in Latin. Over and over, round and round, that buzzing noise, circling, really creepy. What was I to do? What would you do, I asked the general audience, if a huge behemoth dragonfly entered your room at 10 o'clock at night and flew around your overhead light, circling endlessly, creepily, a dragonfly? And very importantly, it was pretty clear that the women weren't coming at this point, naked or otherwise. I didn't have any spray like Raid handy, so I improvised as the dragonfly kept his noisy circling. I tried to throw my sandals at it, but I kept missing it, and the result was sandal prints on the ceiling of my room, which I figured would be really hard to explain to my mom. I figured out another path, a potential solution. Here's what I did, and again, this is absolutely true. I got my aerosol can of band spray deodorant, I stood on a chair, and I shot that dragonfly down. I sprayed, and the room filled with that pleasant smell of sweaty, fruity, floral armpits. And soon after continued spraying, he was dead, brought down by band spray deodorant. Dead, but smelling very fruity, earthy, fresh with a floral hint. I kept that dead dragonfly in my room for years. I never did see those 3 naked ladies that night. But, looking back, in the coming 3 years, I did have 3 experiences with 3 naked ladies. For the first experience, I was digging a trench to study the layers of sand in it because I'm a geologist, at a local nudist beach very close to my house, and a beautiful young lady crouched at the head of the trench, again naked without a stitch of clothes on, and she said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm looking at the layers of sand." And she said, "Ooh, I love science," and then she walked away. The second time occurred at the same nudist beach. I was out surfing, and a beautiful young lady swam up to me, grabbed the rail of my surfboard, and said, "Teach me how to surf." As she said this, I looked over my shoulder, and the wave of the day was coming in. Surfers for generations have discussed this philosophical problem: the girl versus the wave. Would you rather surf or go out with the girl of your dreams? What was I to do? Stay with this beautiful young naked lady or ride the wave? I was in the midst of an existential crisis. This was the best wave of the day, but she was gorgeous and hanging on my surfboard, her blue eyes looking into my very soul. Again, I came up with a plan. "Stay right here, I'll be right back," I intoned as I whipped around and caught the wave. She was gone when I returned, and the wave wasn't even that good. A third incident happened close to the former two when a friend of mine and I were looking at tide pools, and a group of 3 naked ladies called to us, "Come swimming with us," they said, all naked and wet and wearing not a stitch of clothing. My buddy Steve and I had been smoking pot and couldn't handle the situation. We panicked and went full zen. The ocean, it speaks. And we just kept looking at the tide pools. Maybe those 3 experiences with the naked ladies were caused by the spell I cast. I'll never know. However, decades later, I found that same book and I found that same spell, and I realized it was in the chapter entitled, and I'm not making this up, "Selling Your Soul to the Devil." The payment for the spell where you have the 3 ladies enter your room at night was apparently your soul. Kinda wish I'd known that before. So the spell I chanted in Latin, the wax, the candles, and the dirt, that was all associated with selling my soul to the devil. The question is, did I actually sell my soul to the devil? The thing is, I'm not sure I did. I clearly didn't get the 3 ladies. Or did I in the following years? Because I ignored them, does that mean I didn't sell my soul to the devil? Or just having them appear means I sold my soul? Or maybe because I mispronounced everything and I summoned a dragonfly. I mean, maybe does the dragonfly count, and all I got for selling my soul was the dragonfly? Or by killing the dragonfly, did that have meaning? Like, did I accidentally kill Satan with banned spray deodorant? I don't know. I simply don't know, but maybe I will someday. And again, this was a true story. Thank you.